All right, welcome to the Brad Haider Podcast, part 5 of our 2013 wall-to-wall baseball preview. Back after a somewhat prolonged hiatus from the podcasting game. We're college kids. What do you expect? We procrastinate and everything, so we figure, hey, it's the day before the season starts. Better do finish our preview before.
Had spring break, had other priorities. Yeah, it happens.
As always, Joe Pascal riding with me. Follow him on Twitter at MJ Pascal. So we're breaking down the National League Central this time. The newly fit and trimmed National League Central. They shed that dead weight. That is the Houston Astros. Shipped them off to the AL West.
Down to 5 teams.
Yeah, it's going to be weird.
Yeah, it kind of sucks for the teams up top, though. One less team to beat up on in the division.
Yeah, just stockpiling wins against the bottom feeders in the division. All right, so as always, we'll go through projected order of finish for the division. I have first place, Cincinnati Reds. Second place, St. Louis Cardinals. Third place, the Pittsburgh Pirates. Fourth place, the Milwaukee Brewers. And fifth place, the Chicago Cubs. So, Joe, what about you? What's your projected order of finish?
I'm going to go from the bottom up.
All right.
Finishing last in the division, Cubs. Just another bad year for those fans. I don't see them winning anytime soon.
What's the streak at now? Like 10. I want to say it's like 108.
No, it's
maybe.
more than that. Oh no, yeah, it is. What was the last time? 1908, something like that. That was the last time they won.
So it's 115.
No, it's like 105.
Oh, okay. So
it's like 105. It's over 100.
A long ass time.
It's a long time. It's a long time. They've been waiting for a real long time. Yeah. There's always next year, Cubs fans. Yeah. That's how the saying goes. There's always next year. Number 4, I'm going with the Brewers. Number 3, going to go with the Pirates. McCutcheon's good. Not that good.
On the cover of MLB The Show this year.
Yeah, I mean, he's a sick player, but, the team's not... I mean, they need a miracle to, upset the top 2, I feel like.
Yeah.
Top 2 choice, 2 and 1, tough choice. I'm a Cardinals fan, so obviously got to give 2 to the Reds. Cardinals taking the division.
All right. So we differ on our top 2 here. You're obviously going with the homer pick.
Of course. I got to.
I can't fault you. It's not like your team. It's not like you're a Cubs fan. You're picking the Cubs to win the division.
Yeah. It's not unrealistic. I mean, if I were to change it and I want to be somewhat more realistic, maybe put the Reds 1, Cardinals 2. But I think the Cardinals are going to make the playoffs no matter what. So putting them 1, it's just a matter of whether or not they get the wild card spot or whether they win the division.
But we'll touch on that later.
Yeah.
So let's start off with the Reds here. Let's run through their lineup. Catcher, Ryan Hannigan. First baseman, Joey Votto. Second base, Brandon Phillips. Third base, Todd Frazier, taking over for Scott Rowland there. Shortstop, Zach Cozart. Left field, Ryan Ludwig. Center field, Sin-Shu Chu, who they picked up from the Indians in the offseason. Right field, Jay Bruce. And then projected starting rotation is Johnny Cueto, Bronson Arroyo, Matt Latos, Homer Bailey, and Mike Leake. So, first off with the Reds... they still have Votto, who can easily go 40 and 100. Was an MVP candidate, or won the MVP. They lost Drew Stubbs. They got Sin-Shu Chu. They kind of just almost swapped them to play center field for them. But I think they're going to be one of the top teams in the NL. I think they're a favorite to win the pennant this year. What do you think about that?
Yeah, they're definitely, top to bottom, they have solid talent. For the past, 2 or 3 years, they've been one of those teams, been up there, playing well. Guys like Brandon Phillips, Joey Votto, Jay Bruce, they can stay healthy. They're going to do big things. They're solid. They have a solid pitching staff. Guys that are solid, guys that are really good. Not necessarily, the best guys out there. They don't have a Verlander or CC or, something like that. But top to bottom, they have a solid, Cueto, Arroyo, Latos, Homer Bailey. Guys that are good pitchers. Not anything that's out of the order, like extraordinary, but they're going to help win games for sure. And you got a guy with the Aroldis Chapman in the bullpen who,
Fireball.
100.
Weren't they talking about making him a starter?
Yeah, that was the
That
case
just
for a while.
seems so dumb
It's-
to me, though.
It's the same thing with kind of like how the Rangers with Natali Felice, they kind of go back and forth with putting him in the bullpen.
But the Yankees with Java.
Yeah, put him in the bullpen, put him as a starter. I think that they're unless they suffer a serious injury or something like that, like Cueto goes down or something like that. He's going to be the closer for him. He's just going to come in.
Well, they also signed Broxton. John Broxton.
Okay, well, worst comes to worst, he's the setup man. Whatever it is, he's going to come in 8th or 9th inning,
And
throw 100 plus miles per hour, and just mow kids out.
Which is such a weapon. Like,
yeah.
why would you even think about making that guy a starter if you can have a guy that come in for an inning? Obviously, you can't just sit back there and throw 100-mile-an-hour straight balls because, the old adage, major league players can time a missile.
Yeah.
But he's got movement, and he does have some other pitches he can mix up there. But
Yeah,
he can hit 102.
Yeah, if your starting pitching staff is good enough to where you can stay in games late, there's no reason to put him in as a starter.
Yeah.
That's the only thing. If they start struggling, maybe, if they were struggling pitching for the past couple of years, I see maybe putting him as a starter, but the staff they have right now, leave him in there, leave him in the pen, and just let him come in, throw gas, get saves, or get, setups or something like that.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to use him as.
And then you mentioned health. Definitely with Votto, that's the big thing because I think it was last year he was having more like an incredible statistical year and then he got hurt.
Yeah.
And that kind of funked them up for the rest of the year.
He's really the only guy that's, been injured before a lot. And, we say this every time.
Yeah.
If teams can stay healthy, they're going to be good. But, that's such an incredible variable. You have no idea.
Yeah, you never, especially in baseball where these guys go down with like freaky things.
Even somebody that's habitually injured, they might have a good year and not get injured at all, where somebody who's had, been healthy their entire career all of a sudden goes down with an injury. Kind of like with the Yankees, Jeter got hurt, this freak accident, broke his wrist. Things happen.
Yeah, and then another question with them as far as position players is Todd Frazier taking over at third base for Scott Rowland, who they just kind of let walk. Frazier had kind of been their super utility guy, he's played the outfield, he's played the infield, but now he's going to be the everyday third baseman having a hit every day. So that's going to be something to watch how he can adjust to that role. And then also, when they lost Drew Stubbs, who was their center fielder, they brought in Sin-Chu Chu, who had only played right field, almost exclusively right field for the Indians, and now they're kicking him over the center. So that might be something to watch. But from what I've read and heard, he's handling it pretty well.
Yeah.
So I don't think that'll be too big of an issue. So what do you think is a realistic expectation for wins for the Reds this year?
Less than the Cardinals.
Well, in your case, yeah. To win the division, if they win the division, how many wins? 95 maybe?
Yeah.
Low 90s? I don't think they're going to win 100.
No, I don't think they're going to win 100. If you win, 92, 93 games, I think maybe, I don't know, anywhere from 92 to 97, you win that amount of games, you got the division.
Yeah.
For sure. I think they can win with 92. Now, I don't think they're going to get that because obviously I think the Cardinals to win it.
Yeah, so.
But, no, somebody gets, Cardinals or Reds get to 92, 93, 94 games. I think they got it.
All right, so let's move on to the Cardinals here. Let's run through their lineup. Catcher, Yadi Molina. First base, Alan Craig. Second base, Daniel Descalso. And I'm going to let Joe take it the rest of the way because that's his team.
Yeah, got third base, Matt Carpenter, filling in for the injured David Freese, who's missing the beginning of the season. Again, always hurt.
Your favorite player.
Oh, yeah. Shortstop, you got Pete Cosma. Left field, Matt Holliday. Center field, John Jay. Right field, Carlos Beltran. And the pitching staff this year, you got Wainwright as the ace, opening day starter. You got Westbrook as the number 2. Lance Lynn as the third pitcher. Jaime Garcia. And just announced a few days ago, the number 5 guy in the rotation with the young stud, Shelby Miller. And obviously, you got Chris Carpenter on the DL, season over, career possibly over. You got Mott starting the season on the DL, and you got for Cal, it could be out for the year.
And then Freeze is on the 15-day deal. So, they're going to be getting him back.
Yeah.
So, the Cardinals made the playoffs. They're kind of like, how we talked about this before. They're like the Michigan State of the MLB. They might get off to a rocky start, but they're going to be there in the end usually.
Yeah, it's one of those teams that always just kind of, especially the last couple of years. Like 2 years ago, Braves collapsed at the end of the season. Cardinals get in. They win the whole thing. Last year,
they beat the Braves.
Beat the Braves in the wild card. Beat the Nationals. Should have beat the Giants. Had chances to beat the Giants and go to the World Series again. It's one of those teams where, they don't necessarily just blow people out and are going to just, win 100-plus games, but they're a team that, if they get in the playoff, it's a dangerous team to face.
Yeah, you don't want to face the Cardinals in the playoffs.
Even with guys, like...
Furcal. Because Furcal was out for the postseason last year, wasn't he?
Yeah, and even like if Carpenter's out, Carpenter's missed season before, Wainwright's missed season, and they still do well without him. They have guys... I don't know how necessarily the Cardinals do it, but they just find guys that come in and they just play solid baseball.
Yeah. Beltran was a big pickup for them last year. He kind of rejuvenated himself.
Definitely.
He was an all-star last year, wasn't he? No, he didn't start.
Yeah. They also, the Cardinals lost some players this year, like Lance Berkman, who was, a big part. They lost, or Kyle Lish isn't with them anymore.
Yeah.
Skip Schumacher is a guy who's been starting at second base for him the past few years, and also... outfielder. The guys that probably are going to be missed, but as a Cardinals fan, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with letting Berkman go. I like Skip Schumacher as a player, but I think they're still going to be fine without him, especially once.
He was just one of those utility guys.
Yeah, he started. He started as an outfielder, he was a center fielder, and then he moved to second base. Kind of, had some speed, hit a little bit, but not too much. I think they'll be fine, especially if I don't like David Freese that much as a player. It's just a personal thing, just being a fan. But he's pretty good. Once he comes back, you can move Matt Carpenter back over to second base, and then you have Descalso and Cosma. They can both play shortstop.
Either middle infield position.
Yeah, so if whichever one, if Cosma gets off to a good start, ride him. If he struggles, you give Descalso a shot. And there are also guys that can come in and play. If there's injuries, obviously, any of those positions.
Can't Carpenter play the outfield, too? Like, if Beltran were to get hurt?
Yeah, Carpenter can play corner outfield if need be.
Yeah. So they got
and if worse comes to worse, Alan Craig can go out there and they can call up, Matt Adams, who's going to be
or Tavares.
Yeah, or somebody, and play those positions.
So they got a lot of lineup flexibility, which is a big plus in baseball with, the length of the season and guys getting hurt, obviously.
Definitely.
So being able to just plug guys in that can perform for brief periods of time is definitely a benefit.
Yeah, they have solid, and their farm system has some really good young studs.
Yeah.
So in case they want to bring anybody up or anybody gets injured, they'll be all right.
So, how many wins are you thinking?
More than the Reds.
More than the Reds.
95.
95.
Actually, I don't think that. I'll go with 93. I'll go Reds 89, Cardinals 93.
That's fair.
Win by 4 games.
I think
that's just me as a Cardinals fan saying that.
Yeah.
So if I'm wrong,
but that's not unrealistic.
It's not unrealistic. If I'm wrong, don't crucify me. It's a Cardinals fan saying that, but thinking optimistically, Cardinals going to win the division by a few games.
I think they're going to the Reds and the Cardinals are going to jockey for position all year. And then, ultimately, one team's going to pull away. I think it's the Reds. You think it's the Cardinals. Yeah. But that's why.
Yeah, this is all going on the fact that the Cardinals are definitely a team. Like I said, injuries talk about all the time. They're definitely a team that, where the guys they have are prone to injury. So,
it's not going to be
things could get ugly if a lot of guys start going down.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to be a scenario where the Reds or the Cardinals have a 15-game lead at the All-Star break or heading into August. I think it's going to be single digits until September.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the Pirates here. Let's run through their lineup. Catcher, Russell Martin, brought over from the Yankees. First baseman, Garrett Jones. Second base, Neil Walker. Third base, Pedro Alvarez. Shortstop, Clint Barnes. Left field, Starling Marte. Center field, Andrew McCutchen. Right field, Travis Snyder. And the pitching staff shapes up to be A.J. Burnett, Wandy Rodriguez, James McDonald, Jonathan Sanchez, and Jeff Locke. First thing with the Pirates. that we gotta throw out there. Do they finish above 500 for the first time since we were in diapers?
I hope so.
Which was 1992. So
I hope so.
it's going on 21 years. Do you think they finally did? It looked like they were going to get it last year, but then they kind of fell apart at the end of the year.
Even though they're in the same division as my team, I hope they do. Like, it's one of those things where it's only funny to a certain point, and then it just gets pathetic. You're just like, come on, like, you have to do it. You cheer for the underdog. I mean, I want the Pirates to do it. I like McCutchen a lot.
Yeah. They're even if it's like 82 and 80, just like what it would do for those fans and for the city.
Yeah.
Because Pittsburgh fans are going to come out and support them if they're winning. I mean, the ballpark is beautiful. Like, it's a great place to see a game. And they were kind of becoming baseball's darlings a little bit. Yeah. And then
they don't need to make the playoffs. The second half. They don't need to win pretty. It can be ugly wins. Just finish above 500.
Yeah, I think their pitching. I think they're going to be a lot improved. And I really think they have a legitimate shot to. Obviously, with McCutchen and Starling Marte, who came up towards the end of last year.
You got stuff like Pedro Alvarez at third base.
Yeah,
who's good. Starting top or their rotation's actually pretty good. I mean, you got AJ Burnett, Juan Rodriguez, James McDonald, and Jonathan Sanchez. Those four guys are all solid pitchers.
McDonald was kind of like a surprise last year. He had a really good first half and then fell apart in the second. Yeah. And then Burnett came over from the Yankees before the season started, and I think the pressure of being out of New York kind of helped. Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, he was their ace.
Yeah.
I think at some point you're going to see their top pitching prospect, Garrett Cole, up in the rotation. I mean, I think he was already. He's probably going to start. He was in big league camp. He's going to start the year in AAA probably.
Start AAA, probably get a few starts.
I think you'll see
somebody at the end of the rotation struggles a little bit,
or gets hurt.
Still gets hurt. Bring him up. Like if Locke, whose projections are 5, if he's not pitching well, or John Sanchez or Rodriguez or McDonald, or whoever, they might call Garrett Cole up, give him a shot because he's their future as a starting pitcher.
And that's what they drafted him #1 overall for.
Yeah.
So I think that the Pirates have a legitimate shot to finally break the 500 mark.
They need to.
I mean,
it's not like it's different streak. Like the Cubs haven't won a World Series in 105 years.
But they've been in the playoffs.
At least they've made the playoffs and they've made it to World Series and they've done things and they've had chances to win. They kind of choked themselves.
Not finishing above 500 for over 20 years.
It's one of those things. It's sad. It's I don't want to say pathetic, but it's just sad.
Yeah. Think of guys our age that are Yankee fans who have seen 5 World Series in their lifetime.
Yeah.
Versus kids who are Pirate fans that are our age who haven't even seen their team finish above 500 since they've been born.
All you gotta do go across the state. You have the Phillies who have won World Series, and then you have the Pirates who have not finished above 500. It's one of those things. I don't care.
They've almost taken on that lovable losers mentality.
Yeah, you have to cheer for them to get above 500. You have to cheer for them, to make the playoffs or anything like that. I mean, nothing crazy. Just finish 82 and 80. 82 and 80. That's all I ask.
All right. The one guy that you touched on earlier that I'm definitely going to be watching on the Pirates is McCutchen. He is bona fide. Probably the best kept secret in baseball.
MLB cover.
Yeah, I think you're going to see his kind of exposure kind of blow up this year, being on the cover of the game and being an all-star the last couple of years.
Doing that, I mean, he's poster boy.
He was hitting 370 at one point last year, in July.
I mean, he's getting everything. Yeah, like you said, cover of MLB. He's a poster boy for Evo Shield right now, which is arm guard, wrist guard, ankle guard for baseball. Really popular. I mean, shit, they're promoting him hard. I mean,
face of their franchise.
He has become the face of their franchise without a doubt. So he needs to have another good season in order for them to succeed and break that barrier of 500.
I think he's going to be, if the Pirates are having a good year, he's a legitimate MVP candidate.
Definitely.
Because I think he's going to hit,
I don't think he's going to be like last year where he was hitting 370 at some point. But
I think he's going to hit above 300, though.
Oh, definitely. I mean, I can see him. I mean,
he could go 30-30.
Yeah. I mean, I can see him hitting around 330.
and then stealing 30 bases, hitting 30 home runs. Because he hits like third in their lineup. Yeah. Even though he's like he kind of profiles as almost a leadoff hitter or two hitter, he hits like 3 or 4 in their lineup.
Yeah, well, he's got some power, and he's
their best hitter, so give him the most RBI potential.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And there's not too much lineup protection there, and it was never undervalued lineup protection.
Definitely.
And I think David Ortiz could write a book on that and teach a college class about lineup protection and how much helped him when he had Ramirez there. But anyway, so I think I'm picking them. I'm gonna think they're gonna finish above 500 this year. I think this is the year they finally do it, and they break it. I'm gonna say it's not gonna. I don't think they win 90 games, but I think they go like 83 and 79.
I don't think that they're gonna break 500 this year. Actually, I want them to so bad. I think they're gonna fall short. I think it's just gonna be one of those things where if they're close at the end, I think the pressure's gonna get to them.
So like you're thinking like 79.
I think at the All-Star break they're gonna be on pace to be right around 500.
They were last year too.
Yeah, and I think it's gonna be the same scenario where people are gonna figure out what they're if they're succeeding, people are gonna figure out what they're about. And like you said, like lineup protection thing, like McCutchen, Pedro Alvarez, not really too much else, huge hitting wise. So I think it's just one of those things where people figure that out, start pitching around those guys, and just say, "Hey, DB with the rest."
Yeah.
And I don't know if they can hold up to that.
They also lost Joe Hanahan in their bullpen to the Red Sox. That's
just big.
Yeah, that's going to be interesting to watch.
Yeah.
Just especially towards the end of the games, because they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna blow a lot of teams out. They're gonna be in a lot of one-run games like that. So having a good bullpen, being able to close games out is definitely gonna be essential for them to have a chance at.
We'll see. Like I said, we'll see. I mean, I want them to do well, but I don't know.
Yeah, you never know, and that's the beauty of baseball. That's the beauty of any sport in general.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the Milwaukee Brewers. You gotta love the name. The only team in professional sports named after making beer. Which if a team tried to do that today, I don't think it'd go over too well. But anyway, let's go through you want to go through their lineup?
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I got you. All right, catcher, you got Jonathan LaCroix. At first base, you got moving over from shortstop, Alex Gonzalez. Second base, Ricky Weeks. Third base, Aramis Ramirez. Shortstop, I'm going to butcher his name. I have no idea how you say it. John Segura.
Yeah, that works.
Yes, guy from the Dominican Republic. Left field, Ryan Braun. And center, you got Gomez. And right, you have, it's another one I'm going to butcher, Norchika Aoki.
Yeah, that's good enough.
That's close, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that. All right, starting pitching, you got Yovani Gallardo as their ace of the staff, and their number 2 pitcher, newly acquired a few days ago, Kyle Loesch, former St. Louis Cardinal. Third in the rotation, you got Marco Estrada. Fourth, you got Willie Peralta, and the 5th man in the rotation is Chris Narveson. And also on the DL on the start of the season, you have Corey Hart, who's going to start on the 15th day.
Yeah. I was surprised Loesch was still available.
Yeah, he was asking for too much money.
Well, yeah, he's a Boris guy, I would expect.
Yeah, he was asking for way too much. That's why the Cardinals kind of let him walk. I mean, he wanted years and he wanted money.
And he wasn't. He's a quality starter, but he's not an.
He's not a guy I'm going to sign for
$100 million. He's not
5 years or
he's
something.
He's not getting a Matt Cain or Verlander type deal.
I mean, maybe if you wanted like 2 years, I might give him some money. But I mean, he wanted a long-term contract.
What did Milwaukee wind up signing him for? Like 3 years, like $39 million or something like that.
Yeah, I think it was something like that.
I know it was 3 years, but I forget the money. But there's all these like options and stuff like that. That's all confusing. But 3 years. But I mean, it's a week before the season starts, and he just got signed.
3 year, $33 million.
Yeah, so like $11 million a year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about the market for him.
Yeah, but I'm glad the Cardinals didn't sign him. I wouldn't give him 11 million a year. I don't know. He's good. I don't think he's that good. That's another reason why I think the Brewers are going to finish 4th, because Loesch is a solid pitcher. Solid like 3-4 guy in your lineup or in your rotation, I guess. But as your 2, I don't know.
Yeah, the Brewers, they just don't have much in their lineup. I mean, obviously Braun is a superstar.
Yeah, Aramis Ramirez has power potential. He's kind of on the decline of his career, though.
And he gets hurt a lot.
Yeah, so that's somebody.
Luke Roy's not a bad hitter.
Yeah,
I mean, he's a catcher, so 260. That's all you can really hope for with them.
Alex Gonzalez can hit a little bit. Ricky Weeks is all right. They got Yuneski Betancourt on the bench to fill in case anybody gets hurt. He's pretty much the backup for every infield position. I mean, they have guys that have been good, but
they're inconsistent.
Yeah, they're kind of on the tail. All the guys have already hit their peak, I feel like, hitting wise.
Yeah, except Braun, I think.
Braun. I said a lot of the guys. I said all of them.
And Gomez can steal. I mean, he's a base stealing threat, but he doesn't get on base. I mean, I don't know what his on base numbers are, but he's not like a 300 hitter. But he's fast as lightning. Yeah. So that's why he's playing center field to cover all that ground. I mean, I just think they're going to be one of those teams that like middles around. I mean, it wouldn't. I wouldn't surprise me if they finish third, just because the other teams in the division. But I don't think they're gonna, flirt, even be in the race for playoffs, like the second wild card spot, let alone the division.
I mean, they'll be lucky to finish third in the division. I mean, the Pirates or Cardinals. I don't think the Reds would ever fall, but the Pirates would have to seriously choke, and the Cardinals would have to be like rattled with injuries severely.
Yeah,
which is possible. Which is definitely possible. But with that lineup, I just don't see them doing too much. I mean, I think they're going to finish better than Cubs, but that's just because the Cubs are terrible.
Yeah. It's just crazy to think that the Brewers were
They were good.
They won the division 2 years ago, wasn't it? Yeah, 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah, 2010.
Yeah.
No, they made the NLCS in 2010, too. Versus the Cardinals.
Yeah, 3 years ago. Yeah, I don't know. It's just they fell quick. It's
just. I don't think that they just have this. Oh, obviously they lost Prince Fielder from that teams, and I mean that was just kind of had been building up to that, and that was kind of like the apex, and then it all got broken up.
Yeah.
But I mean, what are you thinking? 75 wins?
I think less than that.
Really?
I mean, maybe around 70. I'll give them around 70.
What percentage odds they finish above 500?
Odds they finish above 500?
Yeah.
Not good.
20%, 30%?
Yeah, I'll get maybe 15.
What did Vegas set their over-under at? Look that up for me, just to see what...
I don't know.
That's why I said look it up. I didn't expect you to know that off the top of your head.
What do you want?
They're over-under, from a casino or something like that.
For what?
You can bet on their over-under, wins.
Oh.
Just to see what, the people who track this stuff and try and make money off it for a living are thinking. Because that kind of can give you an accurate depiction of what people, what a lot of the, what the kind of general consensus around what their over-under wins are.
Yeah. Hold on a second, dude. I'm looking it up.
I definitely think the Loesch signing was... I mean, it was so late in spring training. He was still around. They probably just say, "We'll take a flyer on him." And they need the pitching.
Yeah.
And he was the guy like that out there. I mean, the money was...
All right, they have it at... This is from Predictum.com. That's the first one I can find. They have the Milwaukee Brewers at 81.5. I'll take the under on that.
Yeah, I would take the under on that too. I think it's going to be in the 70s.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that seems high. Wow, 81.
Yeah.
What are the Pirates at?
77.5. They have the Brewers finishing above the Pirates, and they have the Cardinals at 85.5, and the Reds at 91.5.
The Reds and the Cardinals is realistic.
Yeah, that's definitely a
The
possibility.
Pirates at 77.5.
The Pirates are going to be better. Their lineup is better than the Brewers.
Yeah, I definitely.
Unless
I'd
the
agree.
Brewers just somehow.
Unless Braun just has like a 50 home run season.
Yeah, Braun has an MVP year, and Ricky Weeks somehow turns it around, and Ramos Ramirez have like all-star seasons, and then
Yeah.
I mean, their pitching rotation I don't think is good enough to get them there.
It's nothing that scares opposing
Yeah,
teams.
Gallardo is good. Loesch is solid, not as a 2. Then the rest of them, I mean, somebody have a good year, but
It's not like,
yeah.
no, we're facing Marco Estrada.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but 81 seems high. Wow.
Yeah, I would. If I was a betting man, I'd take the under.
Where would you take on the Pirates? 77.5 is
77.5, I'll take.
that's a tough number because if you take the over, that you're pretty much banking on the fact that they're going to finish above 500.
Yeah, it's tough. I'd take the over on
I
it.
take the over with the expectation that they win like 80 or like
78, 79.
yeah,
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
it's like 77. It almost is like what you kind of expect from them.
Yeah.
Would you take the over on the Cardinals at 85.5?
Yeah.
Well, you think they're going to win the division, so would you
Yeah.
take the over if you
I wouldn't take the over on the Reds.
91?
91.5. I mean, if they win the division, they're going to get more than that. But I'd take the under on the Reds.
yeah.
Personally,
I'd probably
I
that's such a high number to be like kind of the tipping point. Like
yeah.
if it was the over under was like 87, I'd be like, oh yeah, I'd take the over because they could win 91 games.
Yeah.
But if the over under is 9, that's the 91's the threshold they have to beat.
Yeah.
Like that's what we were saying. Their projected win
I
total.
mean,
is.
shit. I could see this division being close. They win the division with 90 games. The Cardinals have 88. They win by 2 games.
Oh yeah, that's totally realistic.
Yeah, like it could be a close division like that. Like there's not. I don't feel like there's too much separation between them.
Yeah.
To where you could say they're going to win the game or win the division by 6 games. I mean, I just don't think that's happening.
Yeah.
And then with the last 2, I know we're not on them yet, but the Cubs, it's at 72.5, under all day.
Under.
Under all day. All day.
Yeah.
Shit. They'll win in the 60s. They'll win in 60-something games.
You think that bad?
I mean, 67. I think 67 is realistic.
True. All right, so let's move on to the Cubs here. The friendly confines of Wrigley Field, the ghost of Harry Carey looming down, cheering on the Cubs. Let's go through their lineup here. Catcher, Wellington Castillo. First base, Anthony Rizzo. Second base, Darwin Barney. Third base, Luis Valbuena. Shortstop, Starlin Castro. Left field, Alfonso Soriano. Center field, David DeJesus. Right field, Nate Scherholtz. And their pitching staff looks like Jeff Samardzija, Edwin Jackson, Travis Wood, Scott Feldman, Carlos Villanueva, and then Matt Garza is kind of floating around there as their sixth starter, depending on
What they want to do. They haven't fully set their rotation, so they have more than 5 listed right now.
Yeah,
because they're not exactly sure what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing.
they have some players. I think Anthony Rizzo and Castro are going to be.
Anthony Rizzo is a stud.
And Castro's not. Castro's. I think he could be an all-star this year.
Yeah, definitely.
But Soriano's contract is just terrible.
Former wide receiver. Nothing against Samardzija. You have a wide receiver as your ace.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I mean he's a good pitcher.
I think
He's a solid
I think that's a case of the best of the worst.
Yeah. He's solid. If you told me that the Cardinals were signing Justin Marshall to be your ace, I'd be like, Cardinals, what the hell are you doing? If you told me that he was going to be like a guy like
5-starter,
I'd still kind of be like, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah.
If you told me he was going to be in the pen, okay, we can work with this some, which is what he had. I mean, he's done that before, but he's doing the starting pitching role. I don't know how long he's going to last their ace. Then you got Edwin Jackson at second. He's a guy who's proven that he can pitch well.
But I don't think he's a 2-starter.
No, and he's really inconsistent too.
Yeah.
He's inconsistent.
I mean, he was like a 4 for the Nationals last year.
Yeah, this is where I struggle.
He's one of those guys that's going to go like 12-11 with like a high 3 ERA or higher.
This is why
he's an innings eater.
I'm struggling with picking the Cubs. 72.5.
Well, didn't Jackson throw a no-hitter like a couple years ago?
Yeah, with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
No, he threw it with the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, that's what it was.
And then he went to the Cardinals. Yeah, he threw with the Diamondbacks. Yeah, he can do that, but then, I mean, he's so inconsistent.
Then he also had to go out the next time and get shelled.
He got the next start, throw 3 innings, and give up 8 earned runs. I mean,
yeah.
He's that type of guy. When he's on, but it doesn't come around all the time.
Yeah.
We'll see how Samardzija does, as the man in the rotation. Then the rest of their lineup, the rest of the rotation is kind of, shit. Even if you throw Matt Garza in there, not really getting too much.
Yeah.
Garza's not going to add much to that rotation.
I think
they're going to have to ride like Rizzo and Castro and
Barney.
hope that Soriano can play well.
Yeah.
Which you don't know about that one either.
Yeah, because you don't know even. The Cubs probably don't even know how old he is at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be like 45 for all we know.
So, yeah.
And swinging a 45-ounce bat.
He does have the biggest, most top-heavy bat I've ever seen in my life.
He basically just goes out to the forest, cuts down a tree, shaves the bark off, and is like, all right, yeah, this works.
Yeah.
It's like in the Flintstones, the thing that Bam Bam carried around.
Yeah, it's exactly what it looks like. It's the most ridiculous-looking bat I've ever seen in my life.
And he's not like a big dude. Like, he's a little skinny mug.
He whips it around, though.
Yeah.
I mean, not as well anymore.
Yeah,
but.
And he still can't. I mean, he still looks like a deer in the headlights out in the outfield.
Yeah.
I mean, he was never like a Gold Glove fielder, but I mean, sometimes he just looks like he's lost out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's shaping up to another long year on the north side.
They're going to have to ride their young studs.
Yeah.
With Rizzo and Barney and Castro, if they want to have, I don't even know what I'm going to say. Want to have some success. They're not. Because I think they're gonna finish last in the division.
Be somewhat fun to watch.
Yeah, to be somewhat bearable, to not be a complete disaster. Those guys are gonna have to play well. I guess the best way to put it.
They're probably like, great. Now everybody's gonna be talking about how crappy we are because the Astros aren't in the division.
Yeah, the team that's suffering the most from the Astros leaving is the Cubs because now they're gonna be last in the division.
Yeah.
They don't have that. They don't have that team to be up on.
It's like, hey, at least we're better than the Astros.
Yeah.
But now it's going to be, hey, at least we're better than the Cubs.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the Brewers or whoever team finishes 4th. It's like, hey, we won 76 games, but at least we did better than the Cubs.
Yeah. So the Cubs are, like I said earlier, always next year, Cubs fans.
Yeah.
Always next year.
Hey, it's Wrigley. If the beer's cold, the fans will have a good time anyway.
Oh, yeah, fans are still going to come out. It's just because of the environment, but it ain't going to be fun to watch.
Yeah, and that's just, I think if they did ever get a good team, it would just be such a crazy atmosphere.
They did. I mean, they did with the whole Bartman thing. They were good.
Talk about a franchise that's had some shitty breaks. Bartman.
You know what?
Then they had Kerry Wood and Mark Pryor, who thought they were going to be like their 2 aces for the next 10 years. Both of them get hurt.
Yeah, they had bad arm injuries and things like that. Just habitual.
Soriano's turned out to be a bum.
You know what, Cubs fans?
Theo Epstein has his work cut out for him.
I don't like the Cubs for a couple.
Obviously, you're a Cardinals fan.
No, but that's not even my biggest rival. My biggest rival is the Reds. I hate the Reds. Can't stand them.
But no, I don't like the Cubs. It's always one of those things where they just choke and they try to find somebody to blame.
Yeah.
I mean, you lost. Bartman's not the reason you lost. It didn't make a difference. You lost because you choked. I hate Cubs fans for that. It's always like, no, the GOAT or Bartman or this or that or whatever it is. No, just face it. You're not as good. You lost.
I wish they could somehow revive Harry Carey and just have him call the year just to see how blitzed he would be in the booth going through some of these games. Just like his comments and just how crazy he would get.
Yeah.
It would be hysterical to listen to. Or they just actually forget revive him, just have Will Ferrell call the games as Harry Carey. That's good enough for me.
Ryan Dempster?
Oh, yeah. Well, he's too busy pitching for the Red Sox. He's got to focus on that. Will Ferrell's got nothing else to do.
True.
He has time to be a security guard at the Staples Center during a Lakers game. He can go call some games with Harry Carey for the Cubs.
That'd be funny. I'd probably watch some Cubs games just for that.
Oh, yeah. Just as a gimmick to, like, get people in the stands. If they had
to get people watching on TV, too. I mean, because, nobody's going to watch these games.
Yeah.
The only reason I would watch a Cubs game is if they were playing the Cardinals.
Yeah.
That's it.
Because they play every game at 3 in the afternoon when most normal Americans are working.
Yeah.
Or
and, it's
doing
on
other things.
They show it on, like, WGN.
Superstation.
Yeah, it's all Cubs announcers. Like, I don't want to listen to Cubs announcers. No, I didn't grow up in that. They're biased towards the Cubs. Like, I don't care about them. No. I feel bad for the Cubs because they haven't won in so long, but it's not like I feel for the Pirates where it's just kind of like, you have to win. The Cubs, whatever. If they kept losing, I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah. Because, like, with the Cubs, it's, all right, they haven't won a World Series, but only one team wins the World Series every year. With the Pirates, they haven't even finished above 500 in 20-some-odd years.
Yeah.
21 years. Think about how many teams finish above 500 every year.
It's true.
So it's like,
It's true.
Like, the Marlins have won 2 World Series in the time since the last time the Pirates have finished above 500.
Yeah. Hey, Marlins won 2 World Series in the past, 16 years.
Yeah. And the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks won. Oh, yeah.
That just is that salt in the
teams.
wounds for a Cubs fan, too.
Oh, yeah.
2 expansion teams from, the 80s have won a World Series.
3 combined World Series.
Then
in the past 16 years.
Yeah.
And the Cubs haven't won over 105 years.
Yeah. That's salt in the wounds for the Cubbies fans. Alright, so just to wrap up here, give me one storyline to watch in this division.
Yeah, I always bring this up, health thing, but realistically, health of the Cardinals throughout. Because with Carpenter out for the year, for Cal probably out, Freeze starting on the DL, Mott starting on the DL. If they have, a starting pitcher go down, God forbid, Wainwright got hurt.
And they just paid him that. They just gave him that huge extension too.
Yeah,
and he had Tommy John not too long ago.
Yeah, he missed the entire season. That would just kill their lineup. They have some guys they can bring in. If a guy at the bottom of the lineup gets hurt, you can have Joe Kelly step in. He was the guy that was fighting for the 5th spot. You got some young studs, and they're going to be in Memphis and Springfield that could come up in case, a position player gets hurt. But they don't have too much leeway when it comes to injuries with their big players. So definitely, if they can stay healthy, they're going to be a team that's competing for it. If they get riddled with injuries, they're a team that's probably going to finish 3rd or 4th in the division.
Yeah, I'm going to be watching the Pirates going for the above 500.
It's a good one.
That's definitely what I'm going to be watching because that's something where it's you want to, even though we're not Pirates fans, obviously, you still want to root for them. It's just
definitely. Last year I was cheering for them so bad. I was like, I'm a Cardinals fan. I want the Cardinals to do well, but
because they're not a legitimate threat to win the division. It's just
it's just sad.
It's going to be. I just want to watch that, and McCutcheon's fun to watch, and
definitely.
So that's what I'm going to be looking for. Give me one player in this division that you're going to be watching.
One player to watch?
Yeah.
Alright. My one player to watch in this division, got to be actually, because I think he's a stud. I saw him play in AAA. I think he's with Iowa. I saw him play some in Memphis. Anthony Rizzo.
Solid pick.
Big hitting first baseman.
When did he come up last year? Didn't he come up in May or something like that? So he almost got a full season last year.
He came up early. A guy that was, when he was in the minors, just ripping the cover off the ball.
Yeah.
Just killing it, hitting just moonshots. So, first full season in the majors. We'll see how he handles it, especially on a team that's not very good. He can, produce some runs, help them to not be completely embarrassed. That's my pick of a guy to watch.
All right. My guy, I'm going to go with Pirates, but I'm not going to go pick McCutcheon.
Hey,
I'm going to pick his running mate in left field, Starling Marte. they brought up towards the end of last year. He was their top prospect. First at bat in the big leagues, knocks it out of the park. That's kind of a good omen of things to come. He's probably gonna be their leadoff hitter. You know, he's a kind of a skinny guy, but he can drive the ball and steal bases, and probably gonna be a pretty good fielder. And just seeing him up for a whole full season, I think, is gonna be pretty fun to watch between him and McCutchen. So yeah, Starling Marte for the Pirates. There's a couple. I mean, obviously, you can go with any of the big names like Joey Votto, Ryan Braun, any of those, Beltran, Holiday. But we kind of went off the grid on this one.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's going to be a two-team race between the Reds and the Cardinals.
The Pirates get hot. You never know. They could potentially try to make some moves. But yeah, Cards and Reds, if both teams can stay healthy, they should be the two teams competing for the division, and then whoever loses out in the division in the wild card, one of the wild card spots.
Yeah, definitely. So that wraps it up for our National League Central preview here on the Brad Haider podcast. Tune in next time when we'll break down the National League West in Part 6 of our 2013 Wall-to-Wall Baseball MLB preview. But until next time, Brad Haider, Joe Pascal, adios.
Peace.